Hello, and welcome to the Tubman African American Museum. For those of you who have not been to the museum before, I'd like to share a little bit of information about us in the hopes that that will make your visit to the museum a little bit more informative and entertaining. The museum has been here in this lovely building since 2015. We are located now at 310 Cherry Street in the heart of downtown Macon. The museum itself is actually much older than that. The Tubman Museum was started and opened to the public in 1985. It was founded by a gentleman named Richard Kyle. Richard Kyle still lives here in this community, but he's not from here originally. Originally, he's from Wisconsin. When he was a young man, he was a Catholic priest. And he was the priest at a church called St. Peter Claver Catholic Church, which is in a neighborhood here in Macon called Pleasant Hill. Pleasant Hill is a historically black neighborhood here in Macon, Georgia. But before coming to Macon, he lived and worked in rural African American communities in Alabama and also in Mississippi. This is back in the early 1960s. So the people that he was living with and working with were organizing themselves at that time to basically try and change their lives and change American culture. They were working to end segregation and work towards integration and equal justice and equal rights for African American people. This was very inspiring work, also very dangerous work. And Mr. Kyle was so inspired by all of the things that were going on around him and by all of the people that were working on this goal that he wanted to participate in that work as well. And so his idea of how he could contribute was to start some sort of organization or institution where people could go to learn about African American history, to explore African American culture and celebrate the achievements of African American people. That's how the idea for the Tubman Museum was born. The museum itself did not come into existence until 1985 here in Macon, Georgia. From 1985 until 2015, we were in downtown Macon on Walnut Street. And in 2015, this 49,000 square foot museum opened to the public. So when you come into the museum, we have 2 floors with exhibits on both floors. The room that I'm standing in now is our atrium, it's our lobby, but we also use it as an exhibit space. And if you look behind me, you can see wonderful works of art on the walls. This is part of our permanent African American art collection. The museum collects contemporary African American art. You see some of it here. The works on this floor are by trained professional artists. Also on this floor, we have our local history exhibit. That exhibit is called Untold Stories, Macon's African American History. And in that exhibit, we tell stories about Black people in Macon and the Middle Georgia region, living in the era of slavery up through the era of civil rights. We also have wonderful works of art on the second floor, balcony. That work is by visionary artists, self-taught artists, folk artists, people who are not specifically trained to make art, but who are inspired to create, and they make very wonderful works of art, a lot of times using found materials and non-traditional materials. And so it's really a wonderful exhibit to see. On the second floor, in addition to our visionary art exhibit, we also have an exhibit on Black inventors called From the Minds of African Americans. We have a wonderful mural called From Africa to America that's done by a local artist named Wilfred Stroud. That work of art tells Stroud's interpretation of Black history from traditional life in Africa prior to the slave trade, all the way up through the election of the first Black president. We also have our Harriet Tubman exhibit. This museum is named in honor of Harriet Tubman. So we do tell Harriet Tubman's story in an exhibit called Harriet Tubman, the Moses of Her People. That exhibit uses art and images and copies of original documents to tell the story of Harriet Tubman's life, her accomplishments, her achievements, her legacy. Also on the second floor, we have a very special exhibit called Higher Awaits, and that exhibit is about the life and career of Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is a very famous and popular artist, writer, director, producer of films and television shows and plays. That exhibit talks a little bit about his life and his legacy. We also have our changing gallery on the second floor. The museum does between 4 and 6 special exhibits each year. Those are special art exhibits or special history exhibits, or sometimes they're exhibits that are both art and history. We do 4 to 6 special exhibits each year. And we also have a very special film called Running 1,000 Miles to Freedom. It is the story of Ellen and William Craft. Ellen and William Craft were two enslaved people that met and married here in Macon, Georgia. And the film tells the story of their ingenious plan to escape from slavery in Macon and make their way up to freedom in Pennsylvania. And after you're through visiting the exhibits, we would love it if you would stop into the store. There's wonderful fashions there, and art and books and jewelry and all sorts of souvenirs that you could pick up. We'd also love it if you would consider making a donation to the museum. Donations are always welcome. And of course, the best way that you can support the work that we do here is to consider becoming a member of the museum. So please pick up information about membership when you come and visit the store. We are open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 to 5. As I said, we're at 310 Cherry Street here in the middle of downtown Macon, and enjoy your visit.